Hi guys, this is Troy from Australian Guitar Channel with a new video this week. 5 things you need to consider when looking for a guitar teacher or for any instrumental teacher for that matter. Often teaching music can be a bit of a side gig or a bit of a side hustle on the way to said musician becoming a superstar. I would suggest when you're looking for a teacher that you want someone who treats it professionally and not teaches it as side hustle, and they are really concerned about your learning and getting better. Okay, so bearing that in mind, let's get right into it. Now, the first thing, and I think really the most important thing you need when looking for a teacher, is someone who is patient. Now, learning an instrument can be intimidating and very difficult, so you really need someone who has an even temperament, who can really patiently guide you through what you're trying to learn and has the patience for you to go over and over songs and little exercises without getting frustrated at all in your learning process. Now, if you've got someone who's kind of flying off the handle at you or your child in the lesson, then I would suggest getting the hell out of there, all right? There are plenty of great teachers around. Next up on my list is someone who can teach and communicate their ideas effectively. Not all great players are necessarily good teachers. They're two very different things. Someone who can play well and teach well can sometimes be a rare thing. You need someone who's really good at breaking down concepts and explaining their ideas really well. I saw an interview with Wolfgang Van Halen where he said his dad Eddie Van Halen was trying to teach him the riff of Panama, and all he did was just sit there and say, well, you just play it like this, and then played the riff rather than breaking it down, because of course Eddie Van Halen wrote the song. He was obviously a great innovator, but maybe not a great teacher. But who cares? He was Eddie Van Halen. Next up on my list, I would suggest is you find a teacher who has a good ear. Okay, that is someone who can possibly work out basic riffs and basic chord progressions on the spot, or basic melodies. And I think if you're paying, say, $40 for half an hour or $80 for an hour or even more, you really want a good teacher who has a good ear. All right, someone who's maybe just as confused as you are trying to nut stuff out might not be such a great teacher. Now, having said that, it's also worth remembering that different teachers specialize in different areas, okay? If a student is wanting to learn some pretty serious speed metal or heavy metal shredding, I'm probably not the guy for a job, all right? So when you're phoning a teacher for the first time, make sure they can specialize in the areas that you're wanting to learn. Maybe you're a beginner and you're just wanting to learn some basics, or maybe you're wanting to learn some special techniques and some special styles. I would suggest sussing that out before you start your lesson. Okay, some musicians might be great with classical music and great with reading music. Others might specialize in country music or folk or whatever it is. I just would suggest kind of sussing that out in your first phone calls to the teacher. Next up on my list is a teacher who is not judging you. Your teacher should be professional enough not to judge and criticize. Okay, they are there to support you, teach you, and help you learn. You should feel like it is a supportive environment. If you feel like you're being judged, I would get the hell out of there. Next up on my list is if you are wanting to do music exams, that is graded exams, I would suggest finding a teacher who can definitely prepare you properly for those exams, as not all teachers can. When I did my final VCE guitar exam, that is my final high school guitar exam, I had a teacher who didn't prepare me properly. He didn't give me the right sheet music for the tune, particularly was Wind Cries Mary, and I played a wrong arrangement of Wind Cries Mary, and consequently I got a lower mark. All right, so a teacher who has got experience in graded exams and can take you through those graded exams and knows all about the theory and oral component as well as the performance component is going to be really important. Lastly, I would suggest when looking for a teacher is find a teacher who has qualifications. Now, this is an essential, I realize. Not all players, there are plenty of great players out there who don't have any qualifications, and they might be great teachers. But if this is important to you, don't be afraid to ask. There are a lot of music teachers out there these days who have a degree, and a lot who also have a teaching qualification on top of that. If that's important to you, don't be afraid to ask, and it can help finding yourself a good teacher. But as I said, there are great players and great musicians out there who don't have any qualifications. Qualifications is something that's kind of become more important in, say, the last 20 years. There are teachers from, say, who started out in the early 20s, back 40 years ago who would probably make great teachers as well. All right, but that is something to bear in mind. All right, guys, I hope that was helpful to you. Okay, there's some tips when looking for an instrumental teacher. As always, share, like, and subscribe, and let me know what you think. And you can also support me on Patreon if you like. I'm going to be here every Friday with another video. I hope you enjoy my channel, and thanks for all your support. See you guys.